retribution. Oh yeah, we want 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 retribution.
What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Primos, Chidos. Now, before we get things started, I want to say a few things. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody who's been viewing, following us, liking our posts. Like, I see you guys there. It's kind of crazy to me considering we started with like 5 people watching us. So just sending a lot of love to you guys. And then I gotta show this off. King Taco, they saw our reel and they sent us like this little gift card. It's actually really pretty. I like it a lot. Much love to you guys. You guys already know we're gonna eat after the show.
Shout out to King Taco.
And then let me introduce, as always, live from Northeast LA, Julissa Martinez.
What's up?
And then wait, I give away my last name.
Wow.
I mean, it's in your guys' like,
That's
Instagram
true.
and
That's
stuff,
true.
right?
No, what the fuck?
Bro, Steve Martinez, you're the only one.
Martian is.
I've never heard anyone else named Steve Martinez.
Yeah, I know, dude. Like,
people are gonna find you like that. I mean,
bro, I know that's true, right? Yeah, it's such
Right.
a unique name. I've never met anybody else named Steve.
Martinez. Is
But
such a
anyways,
crazy-
I'm here to introduce one more person, Brandon.
What's up, guys?
Brandon? Wow.
So if you guys see our like title for today's show, sending a little like jab at 9/11. Well, not a really good jab, I guess you could say, but more of like it's kind of the topic of what we want to talk about today. Brandon, do you want to do a little intro for it?
I mean, 9/11's of course next week. How many years has it been now?
2001, dude. How can you forget when we learn about
21,
it?
right?
21.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
crazy.
21 drinking age.
I mean, I wanted to bring it up because I was just curious about how, like, you know, how everybody's kind of more sensitive to certain things now, or
Mhm.
is sensitive the right word, or how would you put it in a better word? They're
No, I
like-
mean you're right. I think sensitive is a good way of putting it. Like people are a lot more easily and like provoked on
Mhm.
certain
Yeah.
topics.
So like back in the day, people would joke about certain things and it was taken as a joke. And I'm not saying like, oh, I wish we could joke about these things. I get when people criticize and say like, people think just being offensive is the joke. I totally get
Yeah.
that. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that, but I think that it's kind of, I'm just curious as to why there's certain things where people really draw a hard line about like, you do not joke about this stuff. When it comes to like shootings, sex
Do you feel like-
crimes, but when it comes to 9/11, a lot of people make jokes about it online. I see it everywhere. People
Yeah.
always are making jokes about 9/11. Especially, I feel like the younger generation, millennials, Gen Z,
Mhm.
make tons of jokes about 9/11.
But I mean more specifically Gen Z, right? More
Yeah,
specifically Gen Z
definitely Gen Z.
makes fun of it. I wanted to take a deep dive because obviously the anniversary is coming up. And I really feel as though there's this weird like relationship between our generation and the tragedy that happened in 9/11. I even did research for it before like we came today, which is good, right?
That's
I
a
should-
rarity. We
Mhm.
never do-
I
we
know,
never-
it's
we never-
rarity.
We never do research.
I know, right?
Nah,
I
just
even did
kidding.
research, right? I looked over like psychological effects that basically 9/11
Mhm.
did on our generation. And what was weird is that I didn't find a lot. Like I didn't find any videos that specifically dedicated themselves to this correlation.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually a big thing. Brandon, you and me off the show, we talked about how what's weird about 9/11 is because a lot of people felt as though they were traumatized by the events that unfolded,
Mhm.
not because they remember it in their mind, but because education system taught us the events and showed us, graphic imagery since we were kids.
The people jumping
Um,
off.
Yeah,
the
and
right foot.
you brought up a good point that it's so weird because a lot of people would say that because we were so used to seeing this footage of people diving off buildings, being set on
Yeah.
fire, we became desensitized to that type of like graphic nature,
Yeah.
and is why we kind of now have more of a like I guess what morbid curiosity, more
Yeah.
morbid sense of humor. But you brought up that like, well, I mean, other people in the past grew up like during World War I, World War II.
World War II, Vietnam.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty common back in the day. Like stumble across a dead body. Because what's that law that protects you between like if you bring someone in for like if they overdosed?
No, I don't know.
Because my dad was talking about that not a long time ago, where he said that something about that where it wasn't as so sometimes if somebody overdosed, they wouldn't bring them in because they're afraid. So
Really?
yeah.
No, I've never heard of that. Really?
I'm pretty sure.
It's
I
like
mean,
an old
I
school
could
law?
No, it's not an old school law, but it's a law that there's posters where it's like you're protected if like
Oh, if you
something
bring somebody in,
if
oh,
they're like
I get it.
overdosing, so
Yeah.
they don't die. I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not
So
misquoting.
there's not like a suspicion of you like that you murdered them,
I think
right?
something like that. But you know what I mean? I'm making the point that I feel like I don't know that it's necessarily that our generation is more used to seeing gruesome things, because I feel like if anything, the further back you go, the more gruesome things were.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, well, I think the difference is that nowadays we grew up in the age of the internet, right? We grew
Yeah.
up where it was so easy to be it was so easy to see these type of like graphic things on the internet. I mean, I see memes and TikToks all about this about
cartel beheadings.
yeah.
and
I mean, and that was
it's
true.
just-
I mean, when I was a
Yeah.
kid and I was fucking free reign internet, I'd look up like gore and
Yeah.
like see people be beheaded.
Even if you
Yeah.
don't look it up, it finds its way to you if you're on the internet enough.
Yeah, I also think I don't know. I guess with what you're saying, I mean, for me, growing up, I guess I'm borderline millennial. And
Do you
Gen
remember
Z,
9/11?
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember seeing like videos or anything in school. I didn't see movies until like later on in like high school or college
Mhm.
on it. So, but then again, I feel like maybe my own like trauma and my brain made me forget about it. Cause again, I have a really bad memory, so I can't really remember anything from like
Mhm.
my childhood as much. So I'm kind of like, maybe it has to do with that, but I also feel like that's kind of a reach to just blame just that one specific event. I feel like there's just multiple things, but also I feel like I guess our generation kind of grew up on the internet, and how Stevie said, I think we mostly just grew up seeing a lot of like morbid stuff. Cause I heard when people would see like beheadings and like
Yeah.
all that
You
stuff.
never
I
you
never
never
saw those things. Like I've never seen anyone die really like on the internet or like get shot or like the beheadings or whatever.
Mhm.
I've never seen those things like and like at all. Like so I don't know. I don't know if maybe that's what it is that our generation kind of just grew on that. And I feel like also it's just that like 9/11 has also been like there's also conspiracy theories to it, right? Which I feel like people have I guess opened it to like I guess joking about it sometimes because they're like, oh, like it's a conspiracy, like this is what happened, like this is what
Mhm.
really happened. And I feel like it's kind of like
That's a good
No,
point,
it's,
yeah,
Julie.
it's
I
just like
agree.
I don't know if it's like the way just people deal with it that they want to like joke with it, but it's just like I feel like because it's turned into so much of a conspiracy, it's kind of lost its seriousness.
Yeah, it's become
Um,
absurd, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like because it's crazy. Even the conspiracy theories are crazy too. Like it's like to think. I guess the big one is like to think that the government kind of did it, right? It's kind of like
I personally think that's why people joke about it, is because
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people lean towards believing that it was an inside
an
job,
inside
as they
job.
put
Yeah,
Oh,
it.
so it's like a
And
coping
it's
thing.
not a coping thing. I just think it's like, well, because a lot of people criticize it in the sense of like they think America jumped on it as like propaganda, where they say that's how Bush got reelected, right? I mean, that is how he got reelected.
yeah.
And so I think people kind of like pushing back on it is not necessarily like a disrespect to like the people that affected. Like they're not dissing the people who like died and like are affected
Yeah.
and all the people who lost their lives and all that. I think
Yeah.
it's more like a pushback to the propaganda machine. Like I think people are saying like,
Oh,
you know what
see,
I mean?
yeah, it's like a
Like I don't necessarily think it's. I don't know. I personally don't agree that it's because we're desensitized. I think we're about as desensitized to.
as any other generation. I
At
don't
least-
know,
at
dude.
least
I don't
the
know if I
gore.
agree. I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I feel like the internet changed everything, man. Like,
The only reason I feel like I don't agree is because of the way the internet reacts to things that are not like. I mean, dude, Sydney Sweeney, the girl from Euphoria,
mhm.
her dad or uncle or something, she had like a Blue Lives Matter shirt,
Yeah.
and the internet lost their minds over that.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I don't get.
You can't have it
It-
both ways, right?
It's just more like I don't get how like people can say like we're desensitized, but then they hyper focus on a lot of
Oh,
things.
Mm.
It's kind of like
yeah.
Yeah.
you have to kind of be one or the other, no?
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. How can we be desensitized at the same time be the most sensitive generation?
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and like a lot of right wing people criticize that a lot. They're like, everybody's so sensitive. I can't say this without people losing their mind. I mean,
But
and I,
maybe it's because everybody's just acting out in the sense of like trauma, dude. Like
I
a
don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I know, but
Yeah.
you're someone in the generation experiencing the same way
It's because
everyone else is.
I sincerely don't feel desensitized. I don't feel like, at least to gore, I really don't. I personally don't really like seeing that.
Mm,
I feel like, I don't know, I've always felt that I get why people go on morbid curiosity, but I feel like there's a lot of things that are quote unquote natural that we collectively agree are morally wrong.
Mhm.
Like if I was that person, or I can't imagine the person who is affected, like who is that gore,
mm,
would be too thrilled that they're being oogled and awed at. You know what I mean? As entertainment. Like that's a
mhm,
person, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like that's how people feel with other things,
mhm,
like when it comes to like racism or just things like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like I
mhm.
feel like people are sensitive and and that's a good thing. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that's a bad thing. I just,
yeah.
you know.
I don't know, and I don't know if I'd agree if it's a good thing. I feel like I've had this troubling like hunch that I feel as though each generation since like about World War II has only become more and more of a traumatic like victim. And the reason I say that is because the most recent example I see it is when the pandemic happened. I saw this post that like completely I grieve all the time about how I lost 2 years of my college experience to COVID, but I didn't even think about the younger generation. And I saw this post that said that sixth graders left sixth grade and entered back into the education system as a freshman in high school.
Mhm.
And like I've said before on the show, I have friends who are teachers, and they talk about how a lot of the newer students, they're a lot more antisocial. They don't know how to
Yeah.
socialize. Because I mean, if you think about it, seventh, eighth, you grow a lot as a little kid. I mean,
Mhm.
it's very important to stay in social in those developmental years.
Yeah.
And I think it's all because of it's all because of the internet, you know, like if you're not allowed to go outside, like in the pandemic, you live through your phone. And when you live through your phone, you live through a superficial way
No,
of,
yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I don't know that I agree that it's specifically that like people see bad stuff, so bad stuff doesn't affect them. I don't think that that's like the
mm,
jump. I think it's more like what you're saying, where it's like people see things in general through the screen.
mhm,
Other people are not necessarily people; they're just pixels on a screen. So I
mhm,
think to me, it's less to do with what the content is, just how the content is presented. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
mhm.
Like people listening to us right now, it's like it's not the same as if like like, you know,
If we had a
if someone was like
person,
actually
yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
like listening to us, you know what I mean?
Mhm,
Because they're just pixels on a screen. I mean,
mhm,
somebody can comment something really mean right now, and what would we do
mhm,
about it? You know?
mhm.
Yeah.
But if someone was right here, I really doubt they would say something really mean. I'm not even saying that as like, oh, we'd kick their ass. It's
No,
just
you're saying that as
Yeah.
like you connect a lot more as a human, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's more like that. And add to that I mean, I don't think I was even one when 9/11 happened,
Yeah,
because there's like a stark difference between the people who like were actually around and like cognizant and
Yeah.
remember it, with the people who don't. Like I
yeah.
remember,
People talk about all the time. There was a definite before and after when
Mhm.
9/11 occurred.
yeah,
But for us, we only have ever lived in the world that was in the after.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's very hard for us to kind of compare what it was. Like maybe that's why we make so many jokes, because we
yeah,
really don't know. Like, was life actually that much better? I mean, I know for airlines, right? Completely different.
Yeah.
yeah. There's
Back
no
in the
TSA,
day,
right?
yeah, no TSA. You could walk in. You could. I mean, you
Well,
see it in Friends and all those
yeah.
movies. Like, oh, I'm gonna walk you to your gate. Can't do that shit
Well, I
anymore.
mean, even for like those who were blamed for the attacks, like the people were affected a lot more than
Yeah,
us. Like, because I always heard stories of like once they saw that who they identified as the attackers,
mhm,
a lot of those people were scared. A lot of people moved away because they were like they knew how America was gonna react. They've seen it in the past of like how they react when we're attacked,
how
right?
they
Like Pearl
villainize
Harbor,
yeah,
happened and all that stuff. So it's like it's crazy because a lot of us live different stories because of that event.
Mhm.
Like
well,
for
I mean,
us, I think for me, I was in preschool or something,
how did you
and
guys experience 9/11 just growing up? And we all went to the same school.
yeah.
Since
Mhm.
we were like little kids, we all went to the same school. What was your perspective on it whenever we'd be taught and they'd show us the imageries and then they'd bring in firefighters? What did you guys think of
Um,
that? Because for me, I always found it very dark since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It always weighed very heavy on me whenever 9/11 was around. I personally did not like whenever we would do it. I understand its importance, and especially now as an adult, I
Of, like,
understand.
being educated
Yeah.
about certain
Yeah,
things.
but as a kid, to me, I just like became almost like not, I want to use the word obsessed, not out of like oh because like I was so entertained. It was more of like I just couldn't wrap my mind around like
That
this
something like
being
that happening.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would go home and on YouTube, and this is like 2005 YouTube, right?
Mhm.
I would look up 9/11 videos, and I would look like
Yeah.
at all the angles of people falling and the planes hitting, because it feels so surreal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like a movie, feels like something is. I mean, my mom talks about all the time when it happened. She thought it was a movie,
Yeah.
and my little brother, my bigger brother, as a little kid, he came home from school, and then he walked by my mom watching the news of 9/11 on
Mhm.
TV, and he's like, "That's a weird movie. I wonder what she's watching." And he
Yeah.
just went to his room,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you know, naive as you are as a little
Mhm.
kid.
Yeah.
But it's weird to then be a naive little kid and being like by your own teachers being instructed like what to do. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah. Do you think so? You think it's more like maybe it's just like a complex situation, you know what I mean?
it's extremely
Yeah,
complex,
so
man.
like
Yeah.
it's like I guess people don't really know how to handle it.
I didn't know. I mean, that's why I'm asking. Like, what was your guys' perspective? Do you guys remember? Do you guys not think about it at all when it would happen?
Um,
Because our school took it very seriously. I mean, we brought in the
firefighters
firefighters
would
and we
come
brought
in
in
and
the
talk
cops to
about
come
it.
and talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember some firefighters or cops be like, "No, yeah, I knew a guy who was there," and obviously didn't make it out.
I really don't remember, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but
Like that's just me.
it's because yeah,
But
side
I
my
have
sister
really
has
bad
really bad
memory,
memory.
so I
Yeah.
can't really remember how it was. But
I
I
personally
do remember like watching movies based on it. And I remember this one scene where I guess it's like the hotel that's across from like the Twin Towers.
Mhm.
And she's looking at it and she's getting a phone call from like her friend saying like, hey, somebody just attacked like the Twin Towers or something. And she like looks out the window, and from like the window you see the reflection and you just see people jumping off. And I remember like the feeling of like my soul leaving like my body. And that was like recent. That was like in what, like high school, college, I think, somewhere around that time. But as a kid, I don't really remember it. I feel like as a kid, to me, it was always just a movie. Like I think it's the same thing of like seeing like the planes crash into the building was just unbelievable. To
Mhm.
me, it was just like I thought it was like a scene from like a movie. Like for a good while, I think just growing up, to me, it was just a movie. I don't think I ever really connected to it because I didn't really know anyone
Mhm.
or like had personally heard stories from people, or that I can remember up to now, right? Um, so I think that's just like how I kind of grew up on it. And it's just interesting because I feel like, at least for me, what kind of like has always gotten me conflicted on it is because of like what people talk about when they talk about the conspiracies, because it's like a big event
Yeah.
that happened that I feel like hearing the conspiracies kind of affects it. Not, I don't know if it's like it taints it, but it's just like it's just sad because it's like whether it's true or it's not, it's still like why come up with a theory like that, but also like it's crazy to think that that's a
Okay.
possibility, you
Okay.
know?
Do you think it's true? Do you think in the
Um,
conspiracy? I know this is to kind of put you in the hot seat right now, right? To tell what you believe, but if you want, I can even go first.
well, there's a lot, right? Because it's like I don't want to sound uneducated or
Mhm.
anything, and I
Mhm.
don't want to sound, you know what I mean? It's just more like I can understand why. I'll just say I can really understand why people really believe there's a conspiracy by it.
Mhm.
Out of all the conspiracies with all the tragedies, I feel like out of all of them, 9/11 is the most where I'm like, I get why people really run away with the conspiracies. And I feel like out of all of them, it's one of the conspiracies that isn't like super like outlandish. Like
Mhm.
it's not, well, the Illuminati are pulling strings and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's some of that, but the main one is just more like, no, it
Because
The
was an
government wanted
because
a
they
reason
wanted
to
they
Yeah.
wanted us to go to war with them, right?
and
And
yeah.
that was like the big thing because it's fear, right? It's the same thing of like what is it, the Red Scare, right? That happened or
the
something.
communist scare.
Yeah, like that, like scaring us to eventually like
To
go
garner
to,
support, right?
yeah. And I think also like through history, right? We've seen it that sometimes we I mean, I guess we also grew up always seeing that America was the good person, right?
Uh-huh.
But eventually we kind of learned that we weren't, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that. So like at least for that theory to me is like, okay, it's a little believable because of like just the, I guess, the evidence or like the facts that are there that kind of led up to it, and then we eventually ended up going to war with them, right?
Yeah.
Because then now it like ended, right? Didn't the
Yeah,
war
it
end
ended.
with them?
Yeah.
Well, because I've seen a lot of because I've seen both sides.
Mhm.
I've seen comprehensive evidence based where they're like, nah, it wasn't a conspiracy. Where they show in detail like how it all happened,
Mhm.
and like yeah, that's fine. But I've also seen where it's like, well, they talk right. There's the famous meme: jet fuel can't melt steel beams. It doesn't
Yeah.
burn hot enough. Or what is it? I think the Twin Towers specifically had insurance policy for that.
Yeah.
The government misplaced like $3 trillion supposedly
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
There's also the Jeffrey Epstein one where he has a painting of George Bush playing with planes and there's blocks
Yeah.
falling.
And he famously had relationships with presidents of the United
And
States.
that's his whole
Mhm.
thing is that he had dirt on everybody and that's why he got whacked.
Mhm.
You know, there's just a lot of things. And I think didn't like a couple months ago they just barely released a new angle.
Yeah.
And then
Well, because
there's
a lot of it became government property.
well, yeah, and then there's also like the Pentagon one where there's like there's like a ton of cameras and there's only like one, and you can
Yeah.
kind of
It's
barely see.
grainy.
Mhm.
It's grainy, you can barely see it, and I think
Bro, I'm telling you, when, in like 2005 YouTube, when that shit was especially unregulated and you could just upload whatever you want,
yeah,
I would literally you already know my recommendation videos would blow up and would show me
Mhm.
the most outlandish thing.
yeah,
I remember the most outlandish conspiracy theory I ever saw on 9/11 was that the Twin Towers never existed.
yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys ever
Yeah.
heard about this?
Is
I
it-
feel like I
conspiracy
kind of
theory?
have.
I've seen the meme where it's like the third tower theory, where
Mm.
there's three.
No, I've never seen that one,
Meme?
but
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
there's this theory. Oh my god, I still remember it because I remember as a little kid, I didn't believe it, but I was like, oh my god, like what if it's true,
Yeah.
right? So there's this theory that as a little boy I saw on YouTube, 2005 YouTube, different Wild West basically.
Yeah.
It's like TikTok today.
Yeah, it said that the two twin towers were holograms, that they never actually existed. That in New York City, like everybody knows it didn't exist, but it was like by law you can't mention that they're not real. And that they were all built and they was all promoted all over the world. So eventually America could use it to enter into the world.
Oh, really?
But that the planes crashing into the towers, it's all CGI, like it's all computer generated
Yeah.
graphics. No, I'm serious. This is an actual. I still remember it to this day because I remember as a little boy, I got like chills, like
Yeah.
oh my god, like what if this is real?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that just led to like a whole fucking rabbit hole of me seeing conspiracy theories. I remember another one I saw was that apparently McDonald's chicken nuggets are made out of missing kids.
Oh yeah, I think I
Do you
remember you
remember that
said
one?
that's why
That
you
one-
stopped eating chicken
That one
nuggets.
haunted me, bro. That's the real reason. For those of you who don't know, I didn't eat McDonald's for the first time until I was like 20 years old. And it wasn't because I'm such a healthy guy, I'm such a
Yeah.
health expert. It was really because I was scared that there was humans in
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 McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yeah, that type of shit traumatized me. Like unregulated like internet access. That's what sometimes I think about. If I ever had kids, I feel like I kind of want to maybe see what they're watching because
Yeah.
I saw a lot of shit that
Mhm.
I feel like genuinely fucked me up.
So
Yeah.
you do think that there is like a correlation between the content people
Yeah,
see and
because like I said, you're right. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a researcher. The only experience I have to go off of is my own. And I watched a lot of shit on the internet when I was a kid that I personally felt fucked me up.
Mhm.
I've told you once that one time I saw this video of this guy like basically just killing someone, basically just killing full graphic like
Mhm.
blood
Mhm.
everywhere. And I remember I turned off the computer and I was like shaking, and I went to my room and I laid down in my bed and I just couldn't stop thinking about the mental image of that guy basically getting his throat sliced. And I thought to myself, holy shit, did I just fuck myself up? Like, am I now permanently traumatized? I don't
Mhm.
know if anybody else like ever experienced that,
Mhm.
but if anybody, if a lot of people in our generation experience the same path that I did, then for me, I'm like, I can get why people are so desensitized.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
when you put it like that, maybe because like I don't know, I can't speak for the older generation. I just assume right because like there's a lot of dark shit that happened back in the day. I mean, there's lynchings, there's a lot of shit that is really gnarly.
Yeah.
But then again, you kind of so I'm like
Yeah.
I don't. It
Because
doesn't-
you even said right, like you look at people on screen, you look at people.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, really quick comment. Somebody who just commented. Okay, first of all, Haylene Lopez. Wow, y'all doing big things out here. Shout out to Haylene Lopez. She was on the show. You guys already know. Go check out that episode. Really good episode. Then Israel Fu said London Bridge is down. Probably a reference to, if you guys haven't heard the news already, Queen Elizabeth passed away.
Like an hour ago.
Like an hour ago. Unfortunately, we're not from there, so I don't know a lot about her. But
Yeah.
respect to her family. You know what I have heard? Apparently, she's like, okay, this I really mean this is no disrespect.
Yeah.
But apparently, like her family has a huge history of like incest.
Yeah.
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 You said that. You said yeah, as if like
Yeah,
We've heard of
like
that.
bro, come on.
Bro, Prince Charles was her cousin. The
Yeah.
guy
Are you
who-
serious?
Yeah, they're cousins.
No, yeah. You see, I don't know, dude. I only know American stuff.
No, yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Israel Fu said, "Obey the walrus, bro." Okay, so what he's talking about, if you guys have seen it,
Yeah.
I always gotta give a little disclaimer because I think it's like one of the scariest videos I've ever seen. But like I don't know if you guys would feel the same way, but when I was a freshman in high school, there was like this video going around called Obey the Walrus, which is basically just like this video of this like guy who's most likely starving. He's most likely starving
Yeah.
to death. And he's in this kind of like dress and he's dancing. And so basically the background of it is that it was made to be kind of a spell, kind of like a thing you cast on your enemies because it curses them. But we're gonna go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the story. So stay tuned. A thing you cast on your enemies because it curses them. But we're gonna go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the story. So stay tuned. A thing you cast on your enemies because it curses them. But we're gonna go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the story. So stay tuned. A thing you cast on your enemies because it curses them. But we're gonna go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the story. So stay tuned. A thing you cast on your enemies because it curses them. But we're gonna go on a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the story. So stay tuned. A Welcome back. Yeah, okay, so I was talking about Obey the Walrus, right? So basically what the Obey the Walrus video was, I mean, if you guys want, go look it up. For those of you tuning in right now at home, you probably could look it up. I say you shouldn't. I get all bad vibes from it, all fucking bad vibes. When I saw that video when I was a freshman in high school, I remember I thought like, hey, this isn't so bad. It's just like
Mhm.
some really skinny guy in a dress, like dancing to some weird backwards music. Like it's not that bad. But I remember when I went to my house in the middle of the night when I was home alone, I just couldn't stop thinking about the mental image. I don't know. I don't know if this is just because it reached back into when I used to watch like beheading videos when I was a
Mhm.
kid.
Yeah.
But it just would not leave my memory, and I would have like nightmares about it. And for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty prone to nightmares. Like I have nightmares all the fucking time. Um, but like that video was absolutely like haunting to me, and
Mhm.
and we talked about like right now when we were on the commercial
Yeah.
break about how like maybe it's just the volume of things you see now. Like back in the day, yeah, you did see gruesome shit. Maybe you'd walk to the corner
Yeah.
store and see a dead body,
Yeah.
but that'd be once every few months, or hopefully, right?
No,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean,
different when you're having a
I
fucking
I
marathon
could
for
be
10
wrong.
hours of just
Yeah,
like
it could
gore.
be, and
Yeah.
like people are. I don't know, because it's like if you look in the past, a lot of it is filled with a lot of gruesome and unpleasant things, right? So I'm like, I have a hard time seeing how it tracks, where it's like, how does it go from like being so brutal to things kind of being better, but it's also, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you're right. I mean, it could be like the volume. I mean, I doubt I doubt the average Joe back in the day like stumbled across somebody getting beheaded or
Yeah.
like getting
Yeah.
sawed in half with a chainsaw.
Or someone
Yeah.
killing
Um,
themselves with a shotgun, right?
yeah.
The amount
Um,
of just the amount of things you see on the internet. I
Mhm.
remember me and my brother subscribed to this Reddit thread. Oh my god, yeah, maybe it was just me. Maybe I just fucked myself up.
oh, there's r/gore,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
yeah, I don't do this anymore. Ever since my nephew was born, I can't look at that type of gore shit anymore. It's just fucking traumatic for me. But yeah, we on Reddit. No, we use r slash
Watch
people
people die.
watch people die. Yes, it doesn't exist anymore. It got banned. I mean, I guess good thing, right?
Mhm.
So basically, what that subreddit was is you just watch people die in very obscure ways, and real
There's
people.
also, do you remember? No, hell yeah. Now in hindsight, I mean, like maybe I could be wrong. Cause do you remember that? Do you remember that website? I think it was called Run the Gauntlet.
No, what was that?
Our
What is it?
friend, our friend, he talked about it, where it's like, it's a website where it's like, I think it's like each video gets progressively worse, and you see how far you can get without,
And it's all gore.
yeah, it's all
I
like,
feel like
it's all
I've heard of
people,
that. I
yeah.
feel like I've heard of these things. I just never watched them.
No, yeah,
Like I
dude,
never watched any of these things.
dude, yeah, like the guy who I'm talking about, I consider him like my older brother,
Mhm.
and he was telling me that it was rough, and he told me to stay away from it, and I was like, no, hell yeah, you don't got to tell me twice. Uh,
I don't know if it's because like when you're a young boy, it's like a way to kind of like show how tough you are.
to like,
But I definitely
yeah,
remember when I was younger, kids would even flex like,
that they've
"Oh,
seen
bro,
it.
like I've already seen like 40 beheading videos. Like I've seen that one
Yeah.
already. Like I remember
Damn.
I had this sleepover
No, I agree. Yeah, he's
my
right. He's totally
I
right.
had this sleepover my sophomore year of high school, and I remember they pulled out their laptop, and I'm like, bro, have you heard of justgore.com? And I'm like, no, what is it? It's like, bro, it's just like gore videos. Like, you want to watch it? I'm like, no, why do I, bro? I'm not like in middle school anymore. I don't want to watch gore videos anymore.
So you think in a way it's kind of like porn, right? Where it's just
Yeah, I
such
do think.
it's such a like overwhelming volume of the stuff that it's like,
I'm almost curious as to what the attraction is. For me, I guess it was like just curiosity. I wanted to see, I guess, like what that looks like because you
but
always
like
hear about it on the news.
but like, well, I just I don't know. I just don't get it in the sense of like, I don't get how like, and I mean this in the simple way of curiosity, that like I don't get how like people are so like not cool, but like nonchalant about it. But with other things that I would kind of consider not as bad, like objectively, people get really up in arms about certain things. You know what I mean? Like when people see the dogs getting their ears cropped, dude,
Oh
people
yeah,
lose their shit, and it's
Yeah.
just,
yeah. But the chop off the dick skin of their
but
kids.
or like, and no, but even, you know what I mean? It's like I don't get like, is it like a completely different part of the brain or something that it's like
I
affecting?
get you, like
Like
on a like actual physical level,
yeah,
right?
like I just don't, because you get what I'm saying, right? Because
Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
where like people are like up and rightfully so, people are up in arms about like racism and all these problems that are, people are really sensitive, again, rightfully so, about these certain things. But then when it comes to like people getting sawed in half, people are like, yeah. Saw that on Twitter the other day.
yeah.
I retweeted it. Like, it's like,
I retweeted it.
Bro.
Dude, I know. Sometimes even now,
Um,
I'm sure, Judy. So you've never even seen like on your timeline. Sometimes like a gore video pops up.
No, I remember seeing the post. I think it was the one of the cartel, but it was always in pictures. Like it was always a picture. But I remember I would always, for me, I hate that shit. Like just in general, like even
Yeah.
like scary movies. So whatever I would do, I would just skip over it. And I think ever since I also had a traumatic experience where some shit popped out on like the internet on YouTube.
Wait, what
I was
happened?
watching a YouTube video and then there was like a scary woman's face that popped out. Um, and since then, I've always just been careful with what I watch on the internet.
I get you.
Like I remember because again, when I saw that video, my soul left my body, and I hate that feeling. So, and that was worse. That was 10 times worse than when I watched the movie that I was talking about. So, like since then, like I remember same thing. Like once I saw that video, I was shaking. I turned off the computer. Like I didn't want to. I wasn't even on the internet. I mean, I wasn't using the computer for a good while. I was like, I'm gonna stay away. So whenever I see something like that, or like if there's gonna be a potential jump scare, or like I just go straight to the comments and like if someone's like, "Oh, this is gonna
Mhm.
happen," like I'm like, "All right, I'm not gonna watch it." I try to avoid all of those things at all causes.
Mhm.
But I had only heard of like the things that you guys are talking about because of like just like compilations of like
Do you
a
think?
YouTube
Do
video
you,
talking about it.
bro? Wait, I'm having like a fucking epiphany right now.
Yeah.
Do you think all that like morbid curiosity came from because we were being educated from like 9/11 and the tragedies that happened? So kids went home and looked up 9/11 videos, and it ended up being like this pipeline rabbit hole to where then people started looking up gore videos. And also, did you guys ever run into kids who got fucked up? Like, you know how I said I thought I fucked myself up?
Mhm.
Did you guys ever run into kids who you feel like they'd get fucked up from watching a bunch of gore videos? Because I remember, I'm not gonna say his name. I'm gonna come up with a fake name. Fucking King Taco. I and Mr. No,
don't say
no.
that.
That's not a good idea.
We're-
That's not a
we're-
good
we're-
idea.
we're
say,
having-
say Ben.
Ben. Okay, I knew this kid in middle school named Ben, right? I remember he was a kid who always told me that he had watched a bunch of gore videos.
Yeah.
Anyways, like he left the school, and our school would always throw these carnival events. And about 2 years later, he showed up. Like I don't know where me and Ben were really close. Like I really fuck with his vibe, right?
Mhm.
And I was wearing this Brock Lesnar shirt. For those of you who don't know Brock Lesnar, he's a
He's a
UFC
wrestler,
fighter,
yeah.
wrestler.
WWE
Um,
superstar.
Yeah, and he has this famous tattoo in the back of like this like beast with like horns and like bones. And I'm wearing a shirt that's basically Brock Lesnar's. And he goes up to me and like, I swear to you, like he starts sweating and is like super worried.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, do you know what you're wearing? Like, do you know what's like on your shirt? And I'm like, yeah, it's Brock Lesnar. It's cool, huh? And he's like, no, dude, like that's the sign of the devil, like the sign of the demon.
It's the mark of the beast.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, bro, like it's really just a shirt.
Mhm.
And he told me that no, like I saw this video online that told me about how like the world leaders put hints everywhere around our media to try and like convert us to like devil worship, and that and that they're gonna try to take over the world. He's like, I've seen these videos, bro. I've already prepared. Like, I'm preparing myself for like, because the world's gonna end like really soon. Like, this is before 2012, obviously. And he's like, I swear, like in 2012, the world really is gonna end, and like it's gonna be nothing but Satanists who take over the world. And like, you gotta try and like get away from that right away, bro. We were like 12 years old, like we were like
Mhm.
little kids, and this kid's telling me grown man conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's why I think about. I'm so scared of like unregulated like internet usage for kids
Yeah.
because
Well, I
I
mean-
got fucked up off.
Well,
it.
I mean, even now, like we've seen our nephew. He's usually at home with us. Like my mom takes care of him, and he's usually on YouTube. And my brother has talked about it, where it's like he likes really watching like train videos, but sometimes like just YouTube starts playing like random
Mhm.
videos. And I guess there was a train video where it showed that it was like running over babies or something like that.
Yeah,
like, on the
so-
train tracks.
So
And I'm
what
like, bro, that shit scares me because then sometimes I'm sitting with him and like just watching the videos, and I'm like, that's a weird sign. Like, why is that
Yeah.
there? Like, to me, and that shit scares me. So I'm kind of like, I wonder what's like happening to him, or like
but,
when
like,
you don't regulate like
how
what he's
come-
watching.
Well, how come like I don't know. I just I like I'm genuinely really curious, you know what I mean? In the sense of like, do you remember it's probably the most famous meme of 9/11 is when it's the Woody and Buzz when he's like, "You missed the truck. I'm not aiming for the truck," and then it cuts to the plane hitting the North
Mhm.
Tower. No, I feel like nobody really reacts in the same way as if they would react to like other things, right? And I get it, like you can say like, "Oh, we're desensitized," but again, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you-
we're
you-
still so sensitive about other topics
in the
right?
sense of like people I don't know if you guys remember, but people used to talk very differently 10 years ago. I'll be liberal, right?
Mhm.
People used to
Yeah.
say some very, I mean, at least where we kind of grew up, there's people who would say the most nowadays, I'd be like, bro, don't say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People would say slurs, people
vulgar.
would make jokes about
Yeah.
very dark things,
Mhm.
but it doesn't get treated with the same like
Animosity.
not even the same, like people don't really take that for an excuse for like, oh well, that's how we grew up, like it was just really desensitized. People are like, no, that's still objectively wrong, you shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to this kind of stuff, people are like, so like how come that's why I'm like, is it
You know what it's crazy about that Buzz the video? You're one of
Yeah.
the most famous ones. Do you know what he's talking about?
No.
It's so it's basically like
do you remember in Toy Story
No, yeah,
when
yeah.
when they're trying to get in the truck
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he's
They're
like, you missed the
flying.
truck,
Yeah.
and they're flying. It's a meme, and he says, I'm not aiming for the truck, and then right then it immediately cuts to the plane hitting the North Tower, implying
Mhm.
that like they were the ones. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they were the ones that hit the
But
truck.
yeah, I've always thought it was weird because like in that video, it's literally people being blown up.
Yeah, that's why it's like that's why. I mean, what? I'm not here to lecture you, be your dad or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just
You're more
genuine-
curious as to what
Sorry.
like
No, you're good.
where does the hypocrisy come from, right?
or just
like
Yeah.
the even not even hypocrisy, just like what's the difference? Like why? How come it gets treated differently? That's why I'm
oh
like,
look, Chris 1781 says, "Did y'all ever watch Happy Tree Friends? Did you guys ever watch it?"
Is that the one with
Happy
like the
Tree
stuffed
Friends?
animals?
It's
No,
it's the
that's-
one where it's a bunch of stuffed animals and they get run over and then like blood and guts like spill out of them.
Can't say I've seen that one.
No, that's another. I guess maybe because I was like,
That's not the
into
one where
that.
they're like singing at the end or something.
And they sing no. It's made to look like a kid show, but they all die in gruesome ways,
Oh,
and
for
it's
real?
and it's extremely gruesome. I remember one of them is like they're literally like look like little Care Bears. One of them they have a lemonade stand, and like he accidentally gets his eyeball ripped out, and then the other Care Bear is blind, so she cuts it like a lemon, his eyeball like a lemon, and it like spurts out blood and serves it to like all the kids, and they don't know that it's blood.
I've seen.
Yeah, I'm serious. Are you guys
Oh
seriously
my
not seen this?
I've seen the Simpsons one, the one where it's like claymation.
Oh yeah, but that's different, bro. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of Happy Tree Friends.
Is it?
That's like iconic.
No,
Is it-
I never.
I
seen
feel
that.
like there's that other one where it's like it had like
Damn, I look bright.
like inside what is it like deeper meaning. I don't know if it was the same. It's the same now.
Deeper meaning?
Can't
Conspiracy.
remember. I'm gonna look it up. Can I look it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, yeah, sure,
I'm gonna look up Happy Tree Friends so I can see if I know who they are.
Happy
bro.
Tree
Yeah, I'm
Friends.
really shocked
I'm
you guys haven't
scared.
heard of this.
I'm
No, I'm telling
scared.
you, it looks like a little kid show.
No, I mean,
Yeah, look, those are the characters.
No.
Oh, I remember that. I
No,
don't think I ever
no.
watched it, but I remember the characters.
Look at images. I bet you it'll be there.
I'm scared.
Those are the characters. You see?
Oh, and that's
Look, you see right there on the
This one?
right. Yeah, that's like basically
Ah.
the basis for all the episodes.
No, I had never seen this show.
No, I've never.
I never heard of it either.
I never
heard-
watched it, but I recognize the characters.
I only know it because when I was little, my cousin showed it to me.
Bro, I'm like,
They,
what?
look, Chris 1781 even said, "Thank you, Steve, for being cultured." Bro, I know. Come on now, guys.
Yes.
Even Jesus Christ himself would probably watch Happy Tree
Oh
Friends.
my
You know what? That's also interesting.
What?
Is we went to Catholic school and there's a very like
Dark.
good and detailed like man on a
Oh,
cross
yeah.
who's like a dead
Oh,
body.
yeah.
That shit
So
was
do you
always
think
scary.
that ever has anything to do with that?
Maybe
us?
maybe it's
For
just the
us?
people I grew around. Cause I always had this theory that people who are in private schools, to prove that they're hard, to prove that they're not like the
Yeah.
goody two shoe, they'd overcompensate by
Mm.
then like cursing all the time
Yeah.
You-
and talking about sex, even
You-
though we're fucking like 10 years old.
You know what's
Yeah.
also funny is you sent me a TikTok about something about like if when you go to Catholic school or something like that.
Oh, and they have you play in the parking lot?
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. So is it that like also being in private school, we all kind of had the
Same experience.
same experience? Which I guess I mean, it's shocking, but I think there is also a good amount of people who did go to private school.
Well, it's weird because I
which
feel
I'm
like
it's interesting.
I feel like private school gives off like the wrong impression of the school we went to. Like it makes it sound like preppy and super
Mm.
Yeah.
like
Mm.
it was not that, you know?
It was.
It
not.
was it was not
was
like believe me,
Well,
it
it's
was
because
not that.
it's church, so they didn't really. Their money was more of like donations and stuff. They didn't really get anything, so for the most part, our
I don't know the
buildings were always
details,
like run down.
but
and
You
just-
stuff.
guys don't go to church anymore?
No,
No.
not really.
Wow.
No.
Wow. No wonder I never see you guys there.
Never
No,
meet-
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't go to church.
Never
anymore.
meet your
you
heroes?
Bro, we live together. My sister would know if I've gone to church.
But our dad said God is everywhere, so I don't need to go to church.
Yeah, my dad. I remember when I was in private school, bro. I remember they'd
But that's
always
'cause
bag
some-
on us for not going to church.
But that's because the church ladies would go to his shop and be like, "Why don't you guys go to church? Y'all live across the street from it. It's only a block away."
And then that's when my dad's like, God is everywhere, and He's always with me, no matter. I don't need to go to church. I don't need to go to church. And then since then,
since then we were like, yeah.
I mean, bro, I don't want to talk about religion because we go. This could be a whole other fucking show about it.
No, yeah.
But since we're coming up at 10 minutes, I want to ease the tension because I know we're talking about kind of serious stuff. So Julia,
I'm
you had some questions ready for us.
Gabby Lopez said, I said that to my dad all the time, and Catholic mass is boring as fuck.
Bro, it is.
It was the same thing every
Wait,
single
is
day.
there, are the other denominations like really cool, like fun? I know
the other
gospel one looks really fun. where
Black
they're,
church apparently is really
Yeah.
fun.
but I don't
Like
know. How's Temple Jewish? That's the Jewish.
I don't
one,
know.
I mean, when we would go to, what was that one in downtown? The
Cathedral?
cathedral? Do you think that was lit? Wasn't that lit?
It was more. I wouldn't.
The after
I
was
wouldn't
lit.
say it was fun. It was fun because of the church. I think it was fun because it was a bunch of other kids who were
Uh-huh.
like us, and everybody was like trying to like just be mean to each other.
Trying to represent their gang.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Their private school. They were suddenly proud.
They
Private
were-
schoolers.
Bro, people would have fucking dance battles.
I remember we were on the bus, and sometimes like obviously the buses would eventually like come because same exit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was sitting either next to or somewhere near someone who was considered a bit of a troublemaker,
Mhm.
and he like, and everybody was like, talking to the other kids in the bus, and he just flipped them off, and like the other kids like got like stunned, I guess, and they
Yeah.
told the teacher, and
Are you serious?
yeah, well, I mean, I remember the teacher on the other side looked really mad, and he was like, "Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that." And
I overstepped.
yeah, and I remember when we parked, he was like, "Let's get out of here." Like, I don't want.
Bro, oh my god.
Bruh.
The cathedral masses every year
That
or
shit was
something else.
hilarious.
So like for those of you who aren't in the know to know, in Catholic schools in Los Angeles, they have basically their fucking Coachella.
It's like a
one-
mega. It's a mega mass,
It
right?
for real
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's like it's literally, isn't that what they literally call it, mega mass?
It's like a
I think,
mean,
I think
if
they
you-
would call it mega.
if you're
Mass
from
for
LA,
them.
you know the cathedral. It's like
Yeah.
a giant church.
There's
Yeah.
this giant church in downtown LA. Once a year, all the people who's anybody
Anyone-
who's anybody
Anyone who's anybody was there. It was just a big. It was a big congregation of all the Catholic schools in the
Is
County?
Los
is
Angeles
it
area,
Yeah,
basically.
the
Yeah.
district, the LA district?
But bigger than that, after the mass, they'd basically throw a huge party for all like the kids.
Mhm. They had
And
a DJ
and it was the one time a year where everybody, all the teachers and staff would kind of look the other way and let the kids kind of just party. And I'm telling you, those kids would lose their fucking mind. Like people would take off their shirts. There were kids grinding on each other. People would dive into the fountain. There was
Bruh.
dance battles against each school.
school versus school.
Bro, the girls would fucking mad dog each other, and then they would like grind on each other, and they would be like, "All right, who looks better?" And I'd be like, "Bro," my ass would be like fucking laughing on the side. I'm
I remember
like,
people
"Bro,
would try to get in
what?"
fights. They'd be like, "Bro, that guy was looking at me funny." Like,
No, yeah,
So you
'cause
tried to fight.
It was
Wow.
such a.
it was the
such
one time
a
a year you can just kind of let loose if
it
you
was
were
such a
like,
funny time.
if you grew up as like a religious kid. It was the one year you were allowed to do something
Yeah,
bad.
it was like a little. I don't know and say barely remember, but like there's like a little portion of like the campus, whatever it is. That's like it's stairs and
It's
it's like a
stairs,
little,
and then yeah,
it's like a little
and
pit.
it was there. It was
It's
a
like-
pit.
Yeah, it's like a pit,
I
and
still
like so
remember
it's
that.
kind of like a pit of just a bunch of kids in.
And that shit was
school dance.
crowded.
I see
it
That
more
shit
as,
was
like,
crowded.
It was almost like a coliseum where like you could sit on the stairs as if like you were
Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
around, and then in the middle was where everybody was losing their shit.
I remember people would really like it. People would,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm misremembering, but
No, people would really
people
like
would be
it.
like, "Oh, are you going, bro? Like, did you get your
Dude,
Dude,
did you
yeah,
get
I
your-"
remember because sometimes people would forget to sign their permission
And they'd be
slips to
really
go,
sad, yeah.
and they'd be bummed. They'd be like, "Whatever, bro. It's like it's Catholic school."
I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go anywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Bruh.
Anyways, Julie, we probably only have time for one more question, but
Wait, why did we bring that up?
I don't know, dude. We're
We
just
were
talking
talking
about
about Catholic school, and
Oh,
if we all had a collective
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah,
they're,
because they
they're,
brought up Catholic mass.
they're
yeah.
a little, I guess,
Too
similar.
long?
But I mean, I guess we could do the first one. Would you be friends with your sibling if you weren't siblings?
Oh, that's a
Stevie,
good one,
do you
yeah.
think we would be friends? Do you think
Um,
we'd ever meet though?
I was gonna
If
say,
we were in
okay,
the same age,
we
do you
have to
think
do
we'd ever meet?
we have to say this in a universe where even though we're not siblings, we still
Mm.
meet. So separated at birth. Because me and my sister are twins.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel like I'm friends with anybody. I can match anybody's vibe. So I feel like I would be friends with my
I don't know,
sister.
bro.
But I guess she wouldn't want to be my friend. My sister does say I'm a little
I'd
too
be like,
much. I remember one time when we
I'm
took shrooms, my sister said I was being too much.
You're being annoying.
And Brandon, do you feel like you'd be friends with your siblings?
Absolutely not.
Why
None of them?
not?
Well, first of all, my little sister is too young. Like, I mean, she's not that much younger than me, but
Mhm.
I feel like I was a freshman in college. I was a freshman in college, and she's a freshman in high school, so we probably would have never met. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then it'd be weird. Like, hey,
yeah, and then
I'd be
we-
like, Brandon, why are you hanging around with a bunch of high school girls?
Yeah, it'd be like weird. And then my older siblings, I won't say how old, but they're much older than me.
Mhm.
And we'd probably never
Wouldn't
cross paths.
vibe?
We would
But-
just, I mean, not that we wouldn't
but
vibe,
what-
it's just we would never cross paths.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, but now looking at, let's say that you guys do meet, but like your personalities are the personalities you have.
I just feel like no way. I feel like the age gap is just too much. I feel
You're
like,
like,
there's
nah.
no way.
No.
You know what I mean? It's either I'm the weirdo hanging out with a younger like girl, or my older siblings are the weirdos hanging out with some like kid.
That's
Okay.
pretty funny because I can imagine like me coming up with you, like, bro, why are you hanging out with like some high school girl? And you're like, no, we're just friends.
Yeah,
like,
right. It's
she's
weird.
just a really good
Mm.
friend.
Yeah. With you guys are a lot closer in terms of age, so I thought,
Yeah.
and she's the older one.
We'd meet
so-
what in high school?
Yeah, we'd probably meet in high
we'd
school.
meet in like apes.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, me and my sister are very different. I am very like I don't know. I guess energetic, and my sister's very like chilling, very
Yeah.
timid.
I'd be like, you're too much, bro.
But I think
wanna-
that's.
But
why,
then again, I feel like that would make us like hang
yeah,
out.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, because she grounds me, you know. Like, if we're both the same person, like I'd be like,
go
bro,
up
shut
and
up.
up and up and up.
Yeah, I'd be like, bro, relax. But since
Yeah.
she's more relaxed, I'm like, all right, I'll chill out. I probably won't. I'll just be having a good time.
No,
I
I
don't
mean, maybe I can see it. Maybe.
Right? I feel
Yeah,
like
you see?
we'd be besties.
Do you feel like? Do you feel like if she wasn't my sister, would you guys be friends?
Well, I don't think we'd ever meet. I think,
Okay, let's say in a universe, you guys meet at ESAT. I mean, in high
my
school.
Did we ever?
No.
We never met in ESAT.
No, yeah,
No.
again, we wouldn't.
we never.
There's
Oh
I knew about Brandon. I just never really like.
Fucked
It's
with him.
interesting.
You thought he was annoying?
No, it was just like I don't know. I feel like it's interesting because I feel like when we were younger, even though the age gap was always like the same, I think we were just in different like things
State of
in
mind?
our lives. I don't know.
Mm.
I feel like I think now I feel like it's
it's starting to catch up because
yeah.
it's like, you know. But
But-
I feel like when you're younger, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so you're 25, I'm 21. So like, let's say you're 15, that makes me like 11. It's like it doesn't track, you know.
I don't know. Don't you remember going to family parties and you'd be hanging out with your little cousins, or you never do that?
I mean, but like to say like your friends or like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't know. She probably would have
It's a
tolerated me.
reach.
Yeah, I guess because it was like family and I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, Julie, who's your youngest friend?
I feel like I remember seeing Brandon, and I feel like we're both very like, what is it, introverted, that we wouldn't talk to each other.
yeah. I probably would just be doing my own thing. She probably would do
Because I feel like I remember him always being in our living room, and then I just say hi, and that's it.
yeah.
And like I go about my day.
I wouldn't
and
be like, hey, what's up, Julius? How you doing? Nah, I would just say, "Oh, hey," yeah.
And
You know what is funny? You guys didn't really start becoming friends until recently, until like pandemic. 'Cause
Exactly.
Yeah,
'cause if it wasn't for the fact that there was like a direct reason for us to talk. then-
yeah.
bro,
I remember, bro, that shit was
whoa.
funny. That shit was funny because I remember, because during the pandemic, as a lot of you guys may or may not know, during the pandemic, we would always just have like sessions. So like we would have smoke sessions. We would get high in our backyard. And I remember there was one time I think you went inside, and then I just started talking to Brandon. I was like, So how you doing, man?
Yeah.
I was like, so what's up?
and that's the birth of
And then
the
that's kind of
friendship.
how
That's
it
the
just
birth
kind of
of all
happened.
this.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
That's
I
kind
feel
of how
like
this all just happened. But what were you gonna say?
And I was gonna say, like, mind blown. Like, wow, if the pandemic had never happened, you guys would probably never be friends.
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
probably not.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to be friends with a good amount
Oh,
of your
my friends?
So I feel like I would have happened eventually with Brendan, especially since
Probably would have taken a lot longer though. 'cause
Yeah.
I don't-
Maybe.
If
yeah.
a fucking world changing event didn't
Yeah,
happen,
dude,
Bro, the
it literally
world-
took it literally took a world's like changing event for it to
that's
like
our thing.
the
Bro.
course of history had to change for you guys to be friends.
The
That's
world-
kind of a cool flex.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, so like I mean, I don't know if that like you know it's if like the world was normal and things were kind of okay. Nah.
Hey, bro, maybe it's destiny. Maybe
Well, there
maybe
you
you
go.
guys were starting to diverge paths too much. And
I
and
thought you didn't believe in destiny, bro.
Yeah.
I thought it was
No, I don't
achievable.
like destiny. Doesn't mean I don't believe in it.
Oh.
Yeah. No,
But
because I
there
mean,
you
think
go.
about it. Destiny.
I guess we'd be friends, bro. Eventually.
No, yeah, I feel like if we all right, let's say we if like all the like obstacles aside, if we were like in an organic friend making relationship,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like me and Julie are kind of similar. So yeah,
You guys would just chill. If I never existed, like if I just never existed, period.
There's
There's no fucking way.
we'd have to have like the same class, but again, it wouldn't like
You guys have to be seated next to each other.
because like when you were like 20, I was like 15. Again, it's like you know what I mean?
I
Wait,
was
wait,
in
me?
college.
Her,
Oh, yeah, her, yeah.
When I was in college, he was barely
Oh.
in high school.
yeah. So again, it's like the situation with me
Where
and my
would we
sister.
meet? Where would we meet? I don't know.
Mm,
And I was a very different person back then.
Yeah.
I was a little kid
I
essentially.
mean, you
so,
basically were a little kid, yeah.
so yeah, you know what I mean?
He still is.
Yeah. I mean, oh shit! Oh no! Okay, I fucked up.
Oh, we ran out of time.
Yeah, I fucked up. I didn't say goodbye to the people on the
Oof,
app.
hopefully the
All right,
bot-
for those of you who are listening, and anybody who's gonna listen in the future, if you guys maybe want to drive or you guys are chilling at the beach and want to just listen to our voices, you should go ahead and download the app. There you can obviously do whatever you want. It'll play in the background. And also our voice is a lot more HD, like it's a lot more
Yeah.
high quality. So if you guys ever want to, go ahead and download the app.
Hopefully the boss doesn't chew us out for that one.
Yeah, our links in our bio. Go ahead. I'm doing this promo to make sure we don't get chewed
I
out.
mean, we can go for like 5-10 more minutes at most. What
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
your
then
what
the other one?
was your other question?
Well, the other one, I was gonna say because we were talking about kids. So there's this thing that people have been saying that millennials don't want to have kids, right? People have been saying that one of the big parts is because the world is becoming inhabitable. Also, I just feel like the world is becoming really expensive.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just like I think at least this is my other reason of like just seeing it is like the things that just go on in the world in general, at least for me and a woman of color, right? The things that we're facing that have been happening lately. But I don't know. That was the other part of my question that you guys were like super interested. I don't know how you guys feel about it because you guys are Gen Zers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We're those snot nosed kids.
Y'all are still kids.
Brandon, do you want to have kids?
I know I always kind of bitch and moan about how I don't like people or how I'm not a people person, but I actually have always wanted to have a lot of kids.
Boo!
so,
I'm a
mean,
hypocrite. Fuck this guy.
So
He flip flops like a burger at Burger King.
Bruh.
But I mean, I don't know. I just always thought like having kids would be cool. But I mean, I get why people don't want them, and I obviously wouldn't.
How many would you want?
Big or small family?
I would like a big family.
Yeah,
just-
wow.
Is it
Well,
because
you-
is
yeah.
it because you have a big family or
Maybe. I mean, people always bring that up, but I'm never like, I don't think that it's because of that. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like, for one, like if you have, I just feel like one, it's cool to grow up with siblings. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I feel
Yeah.
like growing up with my little sister is cool. Gives me a lot of respect for women. I think having a sister is really cool. And I just think, why would I feel like, I don't know, maybe. I
Yeah.
can't speak for all the only children out there. No
Mhm.
disrespect, by the way. So I mean, if that's
Yeah.
cool, then that's
Yeah.
cool. But
I've always said I feel like I wish everybody had kind of been born with a sister. I feel like it does give you perspective.
yeah,
You also learn. You gain a lot of like way
how
of
to interact with
interacting.
women.
what's better, older sister or little sister though?
I don't know. I only have an older sister. You feel
Right.
like a little sister sometimes though, but just because you're small.
I know I'm tiny.
I don't know.
Short.
I don't know. I have both. So
What do you think about people who don't like who say that to have a kid now is almost like a bad thing? That
I
it's
mean, I don't. I mean, if you want to have kids and you're like, and you have the means to do it, like you're responsible and you have the money to support them, and you're not gonna abuse them and all that, then go for it. Knock yourself
Yeah.
out.
yeah, but I'm saying, what do you think specifically about the people who say that like it's irresponsible to have kids, period, because of overpopulation and the way that the world is kind of trending towards? I mean, we just had a heat wave too.
I mean, maybe I can see why people think that, but aren't we supposed to hit like a peak at 10 billion? Then we're supposed to take a dive.
Supposedly,
And like, I
supposedly.
think a lot of people aren't we like way below replacement rate supposedly. I think in Japan it's like that's like a problem actually
Yeah, it is.
that
Yeah.
they're not having enough kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I'm
if
not.
you're a dude and you're into Asian women and Japanese women, head to Japan because apparently they're having population problems over there.
No, I mean like
Bruh.
if that's what you believe, then that's cool. Whatever. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know
Yeah, but you're a
objectively.
person, bro. You're living and breathing on this earth.
I feel like if you're cool and you're down, then
If you're cool,
if you're cool,
only if you're cool, dude.
if you're cool and you're down, you're gonna treat your kids right. Then knock yourself
Mm.
out. But if you really believe that the world's gonna be a bad place, then
Don't have
then
kids.
don't have kids. I don't know. Do what you want to do. You know?
I mean, it's harder to have kids, dude. I mean, we talked
It
about
is
it on
harder to
last
have
week,
kids, yeah.
last week's episode, that it's physically becoming more and more hard to have kids.
All the microplastics in the
Yeah, that fertility rates in
Oh, yeah,
men
it's-
have gone down so much in over the past 100 years that it's become more. I mean, I talk about even my, not to put our brother's business out there, but even my brother had trouble having his kid. Obviously, now my nephew's born healthy.
He's a
But
miracle child.
but it's becoming more and more common to where it's like very hard to have kids. So I don't know. It seems as if the world is saying like, "Hey, yo, like chill out."
I'm
Yeah.
down to adopt though too.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you want kids and you don't want to add to that, if that's your thing, then go.
you know, I read that.
Lots of kids. There's lots of kids that need homes, dude. Lots of kids that need
Yeah,
homes.
I read it.
That's
You
true.
know, I read a legitimate fear that apparently is like in when you adopt is that your kid's gonna grow up to kill you.
Really?
Yeah, that's like one of the most common
Really?
fears that
Why
foster
though?
parents. I think it's because like the ambiguity of like who their parents are.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that one
Interesting.
that like story? It was all over TikTok a while ago where this couple adopted a little girl, and it turned out that she was a grown woman with
Oh
with
yeah,
dwarfism.
that's what Orphan is based
About?
on, no?
I don't know,
In
but
the
it was
movie?
like the real life story is she was a woman with dwarfism,
Mhm.
and she was
Really?
masquerading as a little kid.
That's
And
kind of scary,
It is.
dude.
I mean, it sounds very scary. I think it was like they kind of figured out that like because they would like bathe her, and they would be like, "You look a little developed," you know. And
Whoa.
so they were, you know, it was
That's
just.
creepy.
I think you know what? I think to this day the woman denies it. She still says like I'm a little kid.
Oh, so she's like mentally ill.
I don't know that far, but I think they took her to like a doctor to like prove it, and that's how they. I mean, it came out.
Uh-huh.
But she's like, no, like I'm still a little kid, like you know.
Yeah,
Interesting.
damn.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That is crazy.
That's scary.
But I mean, I doubt there's like
That's like a common.
yeah, like all the kids in the orphanage are just people
Bruh.
masquerading as kids.
Here, like since so we don't go too far into overtime, let's end the show right here. So that way we don't get chewed out too much by the big boss.
By the big boss.
Yeah. But I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in, everybody who's gonna tune in, anybody who's hearing my voice. Shout out to you guys. Like we really do feel the love, and like I really don't know how to reciprocate it. I've been thinking about making more like posts, but I don't want to be corny either. But shout out to you.
We'll do.
Shout out to Kintako. And Israfu, if you're listening to this still, we're about to go get Kintako, bro. We're about to go spend on this.
We're
about
about
to
to go
ball out.
splurge.
Yeah, dude. Honestly,
Okay, we
Kintako's
ball.
technically our first sponsor.
King Taco,
So, dude, you guys are always in our heart for real.
Make a reel out of this specifically for them. We can be like, we're very appreciative. That was very generous of you guys.
Shout out.
We appreciate the love and
Can I lie? I'll edit this part out, but I'll be like, when I opened it, I was in tears and shaking. And
no, you know what? Like, no, you can say this. Be like, when I opened it, I was in tears because, like, I mean, my childhood, like, the place I ate when I was a kid, like, and I've come so far.
Shout out to Vanessa.
Oh, shout out to
singing.
shout out to Vanessa too. Thanks for reposting our link on your story. Like, dude, like you need to come back on the show. Like we were literally talking about you like before the show. Like it's always such a good vibe. But
Yes.
shout out to everybody listening. Go eat some Kintako.
Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We got a TikTok at Primos Chidos Radio Show.
Yeah,
And,
and then just send love and good vibes over the weekend, man. I hope
because
you-
by next year we're gonna have 30K followers.
Wow.
Putting it out. That's
We'll
Steve,
remember you guys
that's
though.
that's Steve. Yeah, you guys were the day ones. I don't know. We'll give you guys free shirts or something.
Yeah, we'll give you guys free shirt. Yeah, actually, take a screenshot. Everybody who's actually listening, take a screenshot. I'll remember this.
Yeah, but this specific episode. You
Yeah.
can't-
with Stevie holding up the King Taco.
yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next week. Same as always. Much love to you guys. Spread good vibe.
Bye,
Later.
y'all. Bye.